I didn't change my life in one big moment. I changed it in 7 very small ones. And at my age, small changes are the only ones that last. My name is Ruth. I'm 71 years old. I've lived in the same little house for 43 years. I raised 2 children here. I buried my husband from here. And I learned something the slow way. For a long time I thought losing weight meant pain, strict food, strict rules, feeling like I failed before I even started. But after 60, your body doesn't need punishment. It needs kindness. A few years ago, I stood in front of my bedroom mirror and barely recognized the woman looking back at me. Not because of the wrinkles, I've earned those, but because I looked tired of carrying myself, heavy in my body, heavy in my spirit. My sister didn't get that chance. She passed away 2 years before she planned to retire. We always said we would get healthier together one day. That day never came for her. That's when I finally stopped waiting. And before I go any further, I want to tell you something gently and honestly. One of the small things you do every day may be quietly making your body heavier and more tired than it needs to be. Not in a scary way, in a slow, silent way. So today, I want to share the 7 small habits that help me lose weight after 60, without dieting, without counting numbers, and without fighting my own body. Just small changes, made by an old woman who finally learned to listen. Habit 1. I stopped eating in front of the television. This one sounds simple, almost too simple. But for me, it was everything. For years, my dinner happened in front of the news. Then a show, then another show. My hands kept reaching into bowls without my heart ever noticing. I wasn't hungry. I was distracted. One evening, I turned the television off, just to see what would happen. I sat at the table, alone, quiet. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like sitting in a room with someone you don't know. But something strange happened. I noticed when I felt full. It was like finally hearing a soft voice that had been trying to speak to me for years. Food is like fuel for a small fire. If you keep throwing wood into it without looking, the fire doesn't burn brighter. It just makes smoke. When I stopped eating with noise in my ears, I stopped eating past what my body needed. Not perfectly, just better, and better was enough. Habit 2. I stopped finishing what my body didn't ask for. I grew up in a home where wasting food was almost a sin. My mother used to say, "Clean your plate. Someone else would be grateful for it." So I did, for decades, even when I felt full, even when my stomach whispered, "That's enough." One Sunday afternoon, my grandson left half a sandwich on the table and ran outside to play. I almost wrapped it up to finish later. Then I stopped. I looked at that small piece of bread and thought, this food does not need to go inside my body to be respected. My body is not a trash bin. That day, I threw the sandwich away. It felt strange. It felt wrong. It also felt free. Your body is like a small house. If you keep bringing in boxes just because you paid for them, soon you can't move around your own living room. Now I stop when I'm satisfied. Not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just gently full. That one small pause helped the weight slowly loosen its grip on me. Habit 3. I stopped drinking my comfort. This one surprised me. I never thought of myself as someone who drank a lot of sweet things. Just a little juice with breakfast, a sweet coffee in the afternoon, a soft drink when company came over. Little sips, all day long. My neighbor Helen came over one afternoon and said, "Ruth, you always look like you're holding a drink instead of resting." She didn't mean it in a bad way. She was smiling, but she was right. I wasn't thirsty. I was soothing myself. Loneliness has a quiet taste. And for me, it tasted sweet. So I made one small change. I put a glass of water beside my chair, not to punish myself, not to be strict, just to remind myself to drink something that actually refreshed me. Now I still enjoy a warm drink sometimes. I still enjoy something sweet once in a while, but most of the time, I let water be my company, and slowly, without effort, my body stopped holding on to so much extra weight. Habit 4. I stopped sitting through my feelings. I used to sit when I was bored. I sat when I was sad. I sat when I didn't know what to do with myself. My favorite chair became my hiding place. After my husband passed, that chair held me more than anyone else did. One afternoon, I realized I had been sitting there for nearly 4 hours without moving. The room felt heavy, and so did I. So I stood up, not to exercise, not to work out, just to move. I walked to the mailbox. I watered the plants. I wiped the kitchen counter that didn't really need wiping. Movement became my way of shaking loose quiet sadness. Your body is like a slow river. If it keeps flowing, even gently, it stays clearer. If it stops too long, things settle at the bottom. I didn't start running. I didn't join a gym. I simply stopped letting my chair swallow my afternoons. And over time, my body grew lighter, not just in weight, in mood. Habit 5. I stopped being cruel to myself in my own head. This one hurt the most to admit. Every morning, I used to look in the mirror and quietly say things I would never say to another person. You let yourself go. You should have done better. You're too old to change now. Those words sat inside me all day. And heavy words make heavy hearts. One morning, while brushing my hair, I heard my granddaughter in the hallway practicing for a school play. She whispered her lines softly to herself, encouraging herself. Trying again. I stood there and thought, when did I stop speaking kindly to the person who needed it most? So I changed one sentence. Just one. Instead of saying, you failed again, I started saying, you're still learning. Your body listens to your thoughts the way a child listens to a parent. If you keep telling it that it is broken, it believes you. When I became gentler with myself, I became gentler with my body, and it slowly responded. Habit 6. I stopped eating to fill quiet spaces. This one is very personal. Evenings were the hardest. After dinner, after dishes, after the house became still. That was when the kitchen light would come back on. Not for hunger, for comfort. I missed hearing someone in the next room. I missed footsteps. I missed small talk. So I filled the silence with snacks. One night, I carried a bowl into the living room and stopped halfway across the floor. I asked myself one simple question. Are you hungry or are you lonely? The answer surprised me. I put the bowl down. I opened the window instead. I listened to a dog barking far away, a car passing slowly, the soft sound of the evening settling. Food can warm your mouth, but it cannot warm your life. Now when the house feels too quiet, I sit with a cup of tea. I write a short note to my sister. I step outside for a minute. I stopped feeding silence, and slowly, my body stopped holding on to what it no longer needed. Habit 7. I stopped waiting for later to take care of myself. This one may be the most important. For years I told myself, I'll start when things slow down. I'll start after the holidays. I'll start when I feel better. Later became a very comfortable word. My husband and I once planned to take a small train trip through the mountains. We talked about it for nearly 10 years. There was always another bill, another appointment, another busy season. He passed away before we ever booked the tickets. That lesson stayed with me. You do not lose weight only with habits. You lose it when you finally believe you deserve to feel better now, not when life becomes perfect. Now, so I stopped waiting. I started taking care of myself in quiet ways, on ordinary days, in ordinary moments, and those ordinary moments added up. So let me gently remind you, I stopped eating in front of noise. I stopped finishing what my body didn't ask for. I stopped drinking my comfort. I stopped sitting through my feelings. I stopped being cruel to myself. I stopped feeding silence. And I stopped waiting to begin. None of these were big. None of them were dramatic. But together, They slowly changed how my body carried itself through the day. And maybe one of the small things you do today could help your body feel lighter tomorrow. Not perfect, just lighter. Right now, I'm sitting near the window in my living room. The late afternoon sun is sliding across the floor. My tea is getting cold beside me, and the birds are arguing gently in the tree outside. Life is quiet, and for the first time in a long time, my body feels peaceful inside that quiet. Be gentle with yourself today. Choose one small habit, just one, and let it be enough.